Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. You are welcome on Mamlakak Broadcast Network TV, affectionately call it MBNK News, a platform designed to contrast the worldly fact with the kingdom truth, the original. I am Ambassador Vallely, your host for this show today. It is such a privilege and honor to sit down with distinguished retired U.S. Army Major General Vallely for this in-depth discussion. It will be tedious and unprofitable to discuss to any great extent the numerous theories written by various groups out there. The point is most of them do not even know or fail to understand the root of the issue we face, not only in this country, but the whole world. Reason why I am confident Major General Vallely is knowledgeable and well-versed on this issue and will navigate with ease as he talk about current affairs, things the legacy media will not tell you, such as the invisible treason in America, special operation that has been carried out and largely behind the scene with careful planning and execution by key players within the military and more. Allow me now to introduce our guest from his own biography, and I'm telling you, this is just a condensed one. Major General Paul E. Vallely was born in Dubois, Pennsylvania, and served a distinguished career of 31 years in the U.S. Army before he retired as Deputy Commanding General, U.S. Army Pacific and Honolulu, Hawaii. In 1992, General Vallely graduated from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point and earned his commission in the Army in 1961. General Vallely is a graduate of the Infantry School, Ranger and Airborne School, Jump Master School, the Command and General Staff School, the Industry College of the Armed Force, and the Army War College. His combat service in Vietnam include position as an infantry company commander, intelligence officer, operation officer, military advisor, and aide-camp. He has over 15 years of experience in special operation, psychological operation, and civil military operation. After serving in 2 combat tours in Vietnam, he also served in several other overseas theaters in Europe and Pacific Rim countries. He served on U.S. security assistance mission and civilian military relation tours in Europe, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, Syria, Iraq, Kuwait, Turkey, Israel, Indonesia, and Central America. He has consulted the Commanding General of the Special Operation Command and the DoD Anti-Drug and Counter-Terrorism Task Force. He also designed and developed the Host Nation Support Program in the Pacific for the DoD and the State Department. Major General Vallely has been on radio and television for many years, most notably serving as the senior military analyst for the Fox News channel from 2001 through 2008. He is a guest lecturer on multiple issues, including national security, international politics, economic, strategic planning, U.S. foreign policies, and the global war against radical Islam and other threats to America. Major General Vallely conducts an average of 4 to 6 national radio TV show interview per week, and he is well known for his published article and talks on national security and domestic issue. Vallely is the founder of Nemo Arms Inc. of Caldwell, Idaho, and he's the chairman of Stand Up America US Foundation. He also chairs the Legacy National Security Advisor Group, and he's founding member of the Citizens Commission on National Security, CCNS. He led fact-finding mission into Syria in 2012 with his team traveling deep inside the Syrian war zone to Aleppo. During that period, he co-chaired two separate delegations to Cairo, Egypt, to meet with President El-Sisi and his senior staff. His most recent book are The Dismantling of America, The Reality Prism, America Ends Game for the 21st Century, The Mindless War, and Invisible Treason in America. Paul and his wife, Marianne, reside in Montana. Both are deeply involved in numerous humanitarian efforts and actively participate in many community events and activity. His website is standupamericaus.org, and all this information are going to be posted in the comment below. So look at the comment below and you will find all this information. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome retired U.S. Army Major General Paul Vallely. Thank you. The floor is yours. And thank you, sir, for your service.
Well, thank you, Veronica, for that kind invitation and kind description of my, I guess, my history in this world after 85 years. So I'm still here, and I'm just very happy to be on your show today. Thank you again for the invitation.
Thank you very much for the privilege of having you on our show and your availability. Actually, I remember that we were supposed to have it on the 3rd, but you were flying. You were flying for an important mission also and meeting. So we have to postpone it for today. We can't wait to really know what you have to tell our audience today about special operation and all what I described shortly on my monologue.
Yep.
The floor is yours. Thank you.
Well, we formed the Stand Up America Youth Foundation in 2005 in Washington, D.C., Lieutenant General McInerney and myself, really to focus on national security affairs for America, intelligence operations, and so on. And so that's sort of an overview, and everybody can go to our website, standupamericaus.org, where they can really take all of our information, everything we've written, all the analysis we've done, the books we've written. And so I really appreciate you inviting us, I say us, our foundation, to be on your show, because it's important that we continue to communicate around the world what America is about, what Donald J. Trump is doing. We're very happy to have him as our new president, of course, because he is a true leader. He's a global leader as well as a leader in the United States. And of course, as he tries to change and rebuild America again, we find a lot of the left-wing ideologues in our leftist Democratic Party always challenging him on everything he does. But he's a very strong person. He's a Christian. He's going to celebrate Easter here in the United States. And it's going to be a wonderful weekend. So anyhow, that's sort of an overview, Veronica.
That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much already for giving us an overview of what standupamericaus.org stands for and what you're doing, even though that you are not retired, but you're still very active in the movement. And then when we talk about the movement, as I mentioned earlier a little bit on my monologue, we know that there was something really happening for the last 10 years, let's say, just on that time frame, for the last 10 years in America, and there was a lot of tension. Will you please maybe kind of chip in on that one? giving us really the inside of the background or the foreground and why was such a treason in America, to per se.
You said treason?
Yeah, I said treason. Yeah, I feel you wrote a book about treason too. I mean, and I would like you, please, if you can highlight some.
Sure. Well, if you look at some of our left-wing, they're communists as far as I'm concerned, detractors from making America great again, that in our Constitution, treason means aiding and abetting the enemy of the United States. And that's punishable by death through a military tribunal. But we've had such an infiltration of communism and so on from the Chinese Communist Party in China, who've infiltrated not only all of our many of our companies, but have infiltrated our universities. And then we've had a tremendous amount of Islamists come into the country that believe in Islam and so on. We're a Christian nation. We believe in God, not Muhammad. But they have influenced us so much in our country, creating protests and strikes, as we've seen from our universities in the last 3 or 4 months because of the situation between Israel and Gaza. But America now is in just 100 days soon. We are rebuilding America through Donald J. Trump. We're rebuilding our economy. We're overcoming the treasonous events of Obama, who was our president, and Biden. They both should be tried for treason for what they've done, where they've aided the enemies of the United States, internal and external. And then, of course, we've had a tremendous problem of the cartels in Mexico sending fentanyl into the United States, killing hundreds of thousands of young Americans with this devastating drug called fentanyl. So America has a challenge. We're influencing what's happening between Russia and Ukraine, as well as looking at the nuclear capability of Iran right now and how that may threaten certain parts of the world. So that negotiation is going on. So the president is trying to balance all of these things. And we know our theme of Make America Great Again is tremendously important because we are a great country, a great people. And we have been dependent upon people coming in from other countries to help us build our economy, but they came in legally, not illegally, across our borders, northern and southern. And so we have a rebuild that's going to take years because of what's been done by the likes of President Obama and President Biden, which were totally incompetent. Obama changed our military. We're weaker because of him and because of Biden. So we have to rebuild our military again. So we have military security and the ability to counter and defeat any threats against America, both external and internal. So wow. I'll pass it back to you if you have another question.
Of course. Thank you very much for giving us in that kind of an analysis for truly what is going on. I know that there's I don't know whether there's certain let me rephrase. I don't know whether there's certain thing that you will not be able to uncover to us because we are live. Because I wanted to ask you a question, particularly about Q, because that is how I found you 5 years ago. There was in a setting of where you were discussing with Scott McKay. And so I would like to know more or give our audience what is a Q and what is this thing called deep state? People are draining the swamp. We understand that MAGA movement is draining the swamp. Will you please elaborate on really what those really draining the swamp is and deep state and cabal and all that? Thank you.
Well, the deep state reflects a buildup of a gigantic bureaucracy in America. And so that deep state is in the government. And it's about three different layers. You have political appointees that have come in to our branches of government. You've had what we call senior executives in the different organizations. You have managers, and then you have the workers. And so over the years, the political appointees have really created that deep state of people who influence everything that goes on in government. And what they've created is a gigantic bureaucracy that basically believes in a big government. We believe in we the people, of the people, and for the people. It's a people's government, not the deep state people running the government. They work for us. We pay the taxes. We pay their salaries, the payrolls, their health care, and all of that. But we've had very left-wing people in our Congress, both in Republican and the Democratic parties, who have helped build that gigantic deep state. So President Trump's mission now is to eliminate that deep state and make sure we have a very lean government, a government that is very efficient. And that's why he brought in Elon Musk to make the government more efficient again. And so to do that, we want to take the politics and remove that deep state so that we have people working for the people. And that's the objective right now. So we see deep states in other governments as well, as they created these gigantic bureaucracies to run the government, and they don't listen to the people. And that's why America over the years and centuries have been successful, because the people are in charge, but we elect them to represent us, not to dominate us or dictate to us. And so that's the beauty of our country, but we have to rebuild that again, because it's been so decimated and dismantled by these deep state operatives who have led us down a bad road. So we're on a recovery path right now.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Major General Vallely, for answering that question correctly, and especially to cause the people to understand the word deep state, because media always are now talking about deep state for the last 5 years, I remember. And you say it perfectly. We elect the government to represent us, not to dominate us. Correct. That being said, recently, I think 3 days ago, you have an article out in which you pointed out the 51 people that have been removed, the clearance have been removed from them, and security have been removed from them. You want to a little bit elaborate on that one for the people who do not understand really why those 51 people have their security removed, if it's possible?
Yeah. Well, these 51 people that we cited in our article are 51 that we call traitors. They're the ones that created the Russian hoax in 2017, which was a fraudulent effort by them to counter President Donald J. Trump when he was elected. And so they all had high clearances in the government. They were part of the deep state. They lied. They came up and basically were part of what we call that big government. James Clapper, we had, and others that are on there on that 51 person list. And they're the ones now that hopefully our new Attorney General, Pam Bondi, will arrest them, indict them, and they'll be put in jail for treason. And I'll be happy to provide that article to anybody who would like to see it. It's on our website again, but it's called The 51 Traitors in America.
Beautiful, beautiful. I would really like to see that one too. I would really like to see justice being served in America, because if we don't see justice being served, people will continue to do what they want to do, correct?
Right.
So by bringing them in Guantanamo Bay and publicly will cause the people to begin to not doing anything, or doing like money laundering, like Russia collusion, which was not actually true. It was lying to American people and lead the people to believe something was happening when it was not really happening.
Right.
That is, as you said in your article beautifully, treason.
But I forgot to mention, Veronica, also the media in our country supported all these left-wing initiatives, all of these people. And there was only a few outlets like maybe Fox News and Newsmax and a few others that have stood up and tried to explain to the people. But the media has been a large part of this deep state getting its way and dismantling our country. And, Biden probably from day one wasn't mentally capable of leading our country. We saw that as he diminished his capacity to speak, to move, running our country. And they stood by him when he was not capable mentally or physically to lead our country. And so that's why in the background, you had Obama that was really calling the shots and running everything, using Biden as a puppet. And then Obama was supported by George Soros and what we call the globalists around, these financial people, even on Wall Street. And they wanted a puppet in there they could control. And that puppet, not only was Biden first a puppet, but then Biden was a puppet, Obama, then Biden. So this has been a bad ride for the United States, as I would call it. Up and down and up and down. I mean, this is the worst we've seen. And, we were a great nation after World War II, where we helped build Germany and helped build Japan back, help countries around the world. But yet they created all these tariffs against the United States. And these tariffs were the biggest transfer of wealth from the United States over to these other countries, like in Europe, charging all these high-level tariffs on all of our products. And so we're back again to make America manufacturing great again, bring jobs back to America, and stop paying all these extraneous fees that we've had to do. I mean, if you go to Berlin, for example, you don't see an American car, but we have all the Mercedes here, all the Mercedes and all the other cars that are made in Europe. And they put tariffs on all of our cars. Even the Chinese, even though Tesla started over there with Elon Musk and they built Teslas in China. So we've been taken advantage of, and we're not going to do it anymore. We're not going to allow it to happen. And that's why these tariffs are being placed on all these countries so that there's a balance in trade.
Beautiful. That is really what a nation's supposed to be doing. And I like the fact that you touch on the tariff and also saying that Biden was a puppet president. Many people thought that really he was doing something for the 4 years that he was there. But sometimes we need to show the people so that they have to understand really what is going on. And I think they have a question that's from Ambassador Cherry. Welcome. Do you believe the U.S. can recover and become the power that it once was?
Yes, we're on the road to recovery now, but we have to rebuild everything that's been dismantled, from our national security, our military, our economy, our manufacturing. And so we are recovering thanks to Donald J. Trump. We are a power. We're still the most powerful nation in the world economically. China's having a lot of problems right now. I think you're going to see changes in Europe, particularly. You got countries like United Kingdom, France, Germany. They're in terrible shape right now because of the lack of super leadership that they have. There's no strong leaders in Europe right now other than Moroni in Italy and Orban in Hungary. They're the two strongest leaders in Europe. The rest of them have led the path down to dismantling of Europe. Dismantling of the European Union needs to be dissolved. There's no need for them. They completely have dictated to these countries, and they've led them down a road that has got them in economic trouble. They have very weak armed forces now. And that's why President Trump's taking all the initiative to ensure that there's a ceasefire in Ukraine, Russia. And that has to be done. And I think it will happen shortly.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much for that answer, Major General Vallely. Now I have a question. Freedom is the goal. The Constitution is the way. How do we get there? How can you please explain to us that?
Can I read you something that I just wrote this morning?
Please, yes, go ahead. Do that, please.
It's called Preserving the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And the first paragraph I wrote this morning, and I'll be happy to send it to you. The United States of America is more than just a country on a map. It is an idea captured eloquently by Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers, in the Declaration of Independence when he wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, and that includes women, are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, rights that among are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." If all countries had that, the pursuit of happiness, that doesn't exist in many of the Islamic states. They're fighting all the time, want to kill everybody, kill Christians and so on. And it says that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men and women, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, the people. Precisely how the government of the United States is to be constituted among these men and women, and how the government is to derive just powers from the consent of the governed. That's us, the people. And that is what's set forth in our Constitution. That lays it all out, what it's all about.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yep.
The Declaration says
that could be every country. Pursuit of happiness. That's what it's about. It's not about killing each other, harming each other, evil. The Satan. I mean, they have people that are basically, they follow the evil paths of Satan. You know, whatever your belief in is religious-wise, it should be about working with your fellow men and women, happiness, good families, education, learning how to build things again. So that's what our Constitution's about. But we got away from it because of these left-wing people that wanted to build a big government rather than and then money. All these problems you see, like Ukraine right now, is a money laundering operation. These oligarchs, people getting rich, buying estates, mansions all over from the money, $350 billion we give in Ukraine. And a lot of it has been laundered through a lot of different people right now. I'm anxious to see when we do an audit of that $350 billion and where it all went.
That's why I'm so happy with DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and all their findings. That is, I mean, those people need to go to jail for treason. That was money laundering and back to the American people, taking the tax and do that. That's not fair.
We had checks going out from our treasury to people that were 250 years old. 150 years old. They're on the roll. They're getting, where's that money going to? Whose pocket is that going into? And so DOGE is finding billions of dollars of LBGQ teachings in these different countries. I mean, why should we fund that in foreign countries, in Africa or wherever? I mean, it's just been crazy how they misspent our money and basically fraudulently robbed the American people, especially our lower middle class, the working people.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you very much. The other question I don't know, do you have any question there? Yeah, I see, are we stuck in past on how this nation functions? Or do we need a blood transfusion? I love that question. That's great. Thank you, Ambassador Cherry.
We are no longer stuck. We were stuck. We're no longer. We're stuck under Obama, stuck under Biden, but we're not stuck now. We're moving forward. And we have a blood transfusion because we have a great president who pumps blood every day to make America great again. So we're on a very positive track, but it's a battle. It's going to take a while. We can't expect it to happen overnight. Each week, President Trump comes up with a new initiative to make America great again. Every country should have that. Every country should have that. Make our country great again every day. How can we make it better? How can we make our people better? Educate our youth so they can learn a trade, how they can build businesses. And businesses create money, so money can buy homes, money can buy cars. You know, it's an easy equation when you look at it. It's not that difficult, but we've had so many people try to tear that down and tear that apart, ruin economies. I mean, look at all the different leaders they've had in Africa over the years. And you can blame colonialism only so much, but people have to take charge of their country. Look at many of the Middle East countries. I mean, Saudi Arabia's done well because we showed them in 1938 how to drill oil in the sand, how to get oil from the sand. It was 1938. The United States helped build Saudi Arabia and the whole global oil program. Standard Oil of Ohio, Standard Oil of California. That was the company that started all this back in the late 30s. But, you know, a lot of people, Veronica, they don't read, they don't know history. And yeah, the education system, I mean, we're one of the lowest countries in the world and have been in education. And so we are going to put the education back to the states in the country, take it away from the federal government because they haven't done nothing but spend a lot of money, and our education never improved. It's gone down. So that's another thing on the plate that President Trump is working on.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Major General Vallely, for that answer. That truly, we need to revamp everything in this country. I remember in his first presidency when he said that the world is mocking America because we don't even have the good streets and all that one, and yet we're sending all the money all around. America looked just like a third world country, and the globalists didn't really like it because as he was just giving the slap to their face, right?
Well, if you give money to people and you don't demand something in return, then they're going to cheat, they're going to use it, and so on. So it's like if I would give you $100,000 today to buy a house for your family, okay, that money should go into buying a house for your family and not something else. And that's what happened. We've given money to these non-government organizations called NGOs all over the world. And again, if you trace the money, a lot of the money went into the pockets of the people, never got to the aid that they needed. Now, we've done a lot in health over the years to provide health medications, drugs to other countries and so on. We've done some good things. But, for example, we don't need the United Nations anymore. All they do is take in a lot of money, pay a lot of diplomats to go to New York City. So I'd do away with the United Nations. We don't need it anymore. So there's a lot of organizations, even like NATO in Europe, that we majorly fund. We don't need NATO anymore. All it does is absorb a lot of money. The World Health Organization, World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, these globalists who soak up money to control the world. We have to eliminate them.
Exactly. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. And that leads me actually to the next question that is going to pop out on the screen, which you were sort of touching a little bit on that one, where I say President Trump's America First agenda is not an isolation one, rather it's a strategic independence. It is a nationalism over globalism. Any thought on that? Like, as you say, exiting the global entanglements such as the UN, NATO, WHO, and all of the other one who are still again in this country and trying to be like a tentacle. They're almost everywhere in the government.
Well, everybody's fought nationalism. Nationalism is about taking care of your own country. Populism is about being a popular support for your country. But look what Europe did. They took down all their barriers. They let all these people come in from all these different countries. And they came in and they tried to change. For example, France. UK is having terrible problems right now. Sweden is having a lot of problems. These people don't have the standards of those countries, but under Schengen, they did away with the barriers in Europe. Basically, you didn't need a visa or passport to travel. Anybody could come into the country, and so it's ruined Europe right now. And that's what happened in the United States by hundreds of thousands, millions coming across our southern and northern borders, criminals and so on, rapists. So when you're populism, you take care of your own country. You make sure your country's strong. Your people are educated, well-fed, well-housed. And so that's what leaders need to do. But so many leaders around the world, money. And so when you track the money back to WEF, the globalists, all of that, all they do is soak up a lot of money. Like the fraud climate change. That's a totally fraudulent program. Climate changes every day. I live in Montana. It changes 8 hours a day. But they made a big major issue of it. Yeah, we're going to end the world in 10 years or nothing's going to exist. I mean, it's all fraud and it's all money that's gone into the pockets. And President Trump has stopped that now. We're not going to do that anymore. We don't believe in that. We want clean water. We want clean air. And that's where the money should go. And each country needs to take care of itself in that regard.
Clean water. Thank you. Thank you very much as you talk about clean water. We really want clean water, and we need not only clean water, we also need the free energy. The free energy that they're trying to suppress for all people, not only in America, but almost around the world. Why did they do that?
Yeah. Well, again, they're very selfish people. They want to put money into their own pockets. I mean, we have the technology to do about anything. But again, it takes education of the people around the world to do that. We still have poverty around the world that should not exist anymore.
Yes.
We have people who don't have adequate medical, Again, it's taking care of your own people, and that's what money's for, is to be able to do that, build good hospitals, do away with these unnecessary wars. The United States has been involved in a lot of unnecessary wars. Vietnam, they were never a threat to us. The Iraqis, Bush opened up the Middle East, basically set it on fire. Iraq was never a threat to us. Afghanistan was initially, because that's where Al-Qaeda was working out of. Bin Laden was working out of Afghanistan. But we basically, in October, November of 2001, we eliminated the Taliban and eliminated Al-Qaeda from Afghanistan. We should have been out of there right after that. We stayed in there for 20 years. You see all these young men and women lose their arms, legs forever. Paralyzed, just horrible. And so President Trump does not want to engage in unnecessary wars at all. I mean, I was in Vietnam. We lost 68,000 plus Americans. Look at all the millions of Vietnamese that were killed or wounded. For what? For nothing. For nothing. So that's why we say unnecessary wars. We need to have a military to protect us against enemies. There'll always be enemies, it seems. But that's it. We don't need to start creating wars around the world, in my opinion.
Exactly. And especially that come from you, and then you know what you're saying. And unnecessary war is never good for any nation on the planet Earth. And wow. There's been just too much going on, and it looks like the government were doing absolutely nothing for the benefit of the people. They were just in for themselves, and we elected them in, but they never even took care of their own citizens.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But you know, to be a great leader, I was taught by the great leaders of World War II, Gerald Patton, Mac MacArthur, and Joel Eisenhower, who also West Point graduates like I was. But when I went into the military academy in 1957, many of those officers from World War II and even Korea taught me. But they had a vision. And their vision, if you had to go to war and get it over with. Don't do these extended wars and all of that like we've seen. And you prop up all these defense industries. They make a lot of money because they make bullets and artillery and tanks and all of that. So it's become a big business. And President Eisenhower warned the American people about that. This relationship of government to defense industry. And you just look what's happened to a lot of the money that's gone into Ukraine. We know some of it, many of it's gone back into our U.S. Defense industries and to make them rich. So war became a money-making operation.
Exactly, and people who are behind it are actually the Rothschild. The Rothschild are the one that actually sits as a big master. Exactly. Because more war, more money, and deprive the government, and deprive the citizen, deprive the country, and kill everything. They don't just care.
Excuse me.
Wow.
Yep.
You okay? I have another quick question here. It says a moral reset is much needed in this country. Now, we were talking about politics, we were talking about economy, but now a moral research is much needed in this country, one that reinforces American identity and values like faith, family, freedom, and protecting children from radical agenda.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Joel McInerney and I wrote a book called America's Endgame. For the 21st century. That's on our website. But the first two chapters, Veronica, in that book talk about what has to happen first in the United States to recover, and that's a spiritual recovery. We need to get back to honesty, integrity, trust, get away from the political lies, look through a reality prism to solve our problems, not through a political prism. So if there's a problem out there, look at it, come up with the right team to solve it, and you will be on to do. That's how you do it logically. You don't do it. If you look through a political prism and try to solve anything, you get all of these biases and partisan politics at play, and nothing ever gets solved. But if they look at, for example, in a country, they need water. Okay. We have the technology to give fresh water, make water from seawater, to give water to that country, pure water. I mean, we have everything to build new medicines and medicines that work for people that get sick, hospital. All these technologies are available today. And so that's how you solve problems, is through a reality prism and not through a political prism, if that makes sense.
Very much. Very, very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Major General Vallely. Thank you, honey. Yes, it's really wow and boom. The discussion is really going well. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. Will you like maybe to touch a little bit on the one of the articles that is related to dismantling of America? If it's possible.
Yeah, well, our book that you can get on our website is called The Dismantling of America, and that tells it all. Even President Trump is using our books as a Bible, because we talk about all the things we've talked about today in the books. And so if you have a situation where your house falls down, then you have to have a plan to rebuild it again. Okay. And so that's basically what our books are about, what's happened historically and how we can correct it and build for the future for our people. That's what it's all about. It's a very simple formula.
Yeah. That's a great book. I just read a little bit on that one on your website, and I said, wow, people need really to get hold on that book, The Dismantling of America, and how everything was just falling apart and people were not paying attention. And now, thank God that we have a president that said, no more. Now we're taking this one out. We really want America first, and he's standing up for that. And we are really grateful and thankful for God to have a man such as President Trump who will not back up nor bow down for any of those deep state people.
Well, Veronica, you have a very good program. Thank you for inviting me. Hopefully we can do it again.
We definitely thank you very much, Major General Vallely, for your time. I know that you're going to be jumping soon to another podcast or maybe your radio show. So anyway, where people could find you, could you please tell us quickly before we wrap up the show where people could find you, your social media handle? We're going to post all the information you gave us in the comment box so people could follow you there. I know you are on Substack. I follow you on Substack already. A lot of your article there, and it's incredible.
Yeah, we just put another article up on Substack this morning. But it's basically you contact me through the website www.standupamericaus.org, and we have a number of emails that are on that site that you can use. But please contact me. I'll be happy to provide any information that any of your viewers need, and we're open to that. That's what we're all about at the Stand Up America US Foundation. Information, good information for our people and for others to understand. We just conducted a conference, by the way, in the United Kingdom. We had 3 of our people from the foundation over there. It was called the Sense and Sensibility Conference. And so we put our teams out there as well. We have events. So we do a lot of different things at the foundation. We need support. Donate to us. We need money to operate continually. We've been around for 20 years. We've never been in debt, and we put our money to good use. So donate to us, help us out. You can do that on the website and buy our books there as well.
Beautiful. That's a great final remark. Thank you, and thank you very much again. Thank you. Certainly now in closing, certainly some of the things will disturb and puzzle people as they heard today, but they have to be taught and they have to be shown what is really going on. So in our humble opinion, like the art of war, immutably, God knows, He sees, He reigns, and nothing will be done that will keep His good and perfect way from being accomplished in this nation and also around the globe. So in that truth lies our peace and our victory. Hence, we again thank you very much, Major General Vallely, for having the show with us today. The first interview, and we know that it's not going to be the last one. We're going to certainly follow up with you, and also, please, as Major General say, please donate, help move, push this work out, help in. You could go on standupamericaus.org, and you will actually have many books there. You could download it. You could download some article or read it, and also the Substack that is writing every day. Please, we really want you to help this humanitarian work. Thank you again. And now follow us on all our various platforms. We are on Rumble, we are on BitChute, we are on Twitter, we formerly X, formerly Twitter, we are on Odyssey, we are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook officially, and YouTube, yes. So all our website, our social media platform are right there, and you could also just check it in on our website. You could also see everything that is going on. So it has been my privilege today to host this show. And on behalf of Mamlakak Broadcast Network, I want to thank all the viewers who are tuning in late or after we go off live. My husband, Brian Lawson, Ambassador Cherry, Ambassador Victoria, Lady Butterfly. Thank you again. And until the next time, let's salute. Bye bye.